Sunday, Seascapes, we are feeling much better. Trying to keep London to stay away.
You said we?
Well, I'm feeling much better. London still feels ill. So I'm trying to keep her at a 6-foot distance as per regulations. No, I'm just messing around. Let's go through the colors we have today. Bright red, yellow ochre, Van Dyke brown, dark sienna, cadmium yellow, which is a real bright yellow, phthalo green, alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, midnight black, and titanium white. We're gonna do this crazy looking seascape. And what we did before was took our white gesso, covered the top half, took our black gesso, covered the bottom half, and then kind of let them mix into this weird looking little mountain shape in the back. And that's just gonna give us an idea on what it's gonna look like. And then we'll have this other big rock that comes in the front of this gorgeous little seascape. I've taken our alizarin crimson in here, our phthalo blue in this section, our phthalo green, and then our 2 browns in this section. And you can see the colors that we've used so far today. So,
seeing as you feel better, I put the air dancer back up.
Yes, wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Let's grab our solo cup. We're gonna do a gorgeous sunset. So what you need to do is get a little bit of our cad yellow. I don't want to touch the green right now. That would be bad. And I touch the green. See what happens?
Hey.
See what happens when you mess around too much. That's all right. Take our yellow off the top, go over to our cad yellow and our red. We usually keep these guys together. But it's going to be this sort of kind of dusky color, right? This orangey sort of color. We don't want it to be too bright, so just keep going back and forth until it's a color that you like, right? Gorgeous, just like that. Now we're going to take our brush, and if this is the first time you're watching a Paint with Josh video, tell us where you're watching from, what time it is, and, what's your favorite sandwich? Let's see, go around. I don't really want to touch the mountain too much. Maybe we'll throw some of that color down in there. And just like that, that's where our brightest part of our sky is going to be. Try not to get it on the black backdrop, right? Take a little bit of our color, start to pull it out. Maybe there was a little bit of that color down here, but we don't want to go too crazy. I'm going to have so many colors in the sky in this one, right? Now, I got to get a lot of the color off of this brush because I don't want to have too much, especially when I start to pull it into that bright area, right? So we're going to start pulling it down, but trying to leave like a quarter-sized bright area in the center, right? Just like a clock. Doesn't all even have to be the same. Just want to have this nice little bright area in there, and that way we can throw in this super bright sun, and it'll be gorgeous, right? Just like that. Take it, pull it out, push it out. A little more pressure, less pressure. Depends on what you want yours to look like, right? And then when we go over it with our 2-inch brush, that's even going to shrink even smaller, so don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. All right, let's get a different color now. Why don't we come in, we'll go a little bit of our crimson-y. Ooh, a little crimson-y color, right? Maybe we had... Who knows? Maybe there was a stripe of crimson in here. Start to get darker into our sky over on the side. Right? Nothing crazy. Just want to have a little bit in there to block our blue and black so they don't start turning green up in our sky, right? You got to have that little buffer. You can throw a little bit of red in there too. A little bit of straight up red. It's going to be a different color. And when they blend together, they're going to be very neat. And you're probably looking at it going, this is like a 4-year-old sunset, right? Just wait till we start to blend it out. I'm telling you. Let's get, we got enough red into that brush. We can go into our blue and our black, smallest little bit. Maybe even just one little swipe of brown in there too. We'll come in from the top. We have this sort of dark, dusky color. Look at that. Don't want to have too much brown, obviously. You get that nice, deep, dark color. We're going to finish the sides off real quick. And that way, if anybody buys this one, they won't have to frame it or do anything special. They can hang it right up, right? Just like that. Very cool. Just that little touch of brown in there with those little differences and stuff. Gonna leave that nice bright white area in there. Let's see what this looks like when we go to do it. How many people we got watching, babe?
369 on TikTok.
Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys are tapping that screen. Make sure you follow us. We love having fun around here. And it's about to get better, I promise. I swearsies. Okay, let's take our big 2-inch brush, right? Nice dry, there's no wetness to it. And we're gonna come into our lightest area. Is everybody zoomed in far enough? Can we see?
Everything's good.
Sweet. Go into our lightest, brightest area and start making little crisscrosses, right? And what it's doing is taking a little bit of the orange, bringing it in, a little bit of the white, bringing it out. Just the littlest bit, right? If you push too hard, you're gonna push all the orange into that white section. And that's not what we want. I wanna leave it very bright right in there. So when we come back with our sun, it's gonna make sense. Right, we're going to take some of our crimson, start to pull it in, right? Just pull some of the orange out, pull some of the crimson in, back and forth. Blend it, right? Crisscrossing. That way it's mixing it all on its own. You get these very cool things start to happen. Down in here, we're mixing in with that orange down along the bottom, but not going to overdo it so much that we lose all those little differences in color, right? That's what we put them in there for. Get that red, mix it in with the crimson, we'll have all these little differences. And you see why we left that white area? Because our crimson and red are going to want to grow. And then especially when we come in with our dark color and start to pull it down this way, that's going to want to grow. So watch this. That's why you leave that dark area in there. Because as you pull it, it's going to grow like crazy. But it's also going to blend in and create that seamless transition. Look at that.
I am here, by the way. My throat really hurts today.
London is here reading comments if you have a very important one. But tell us where you're watching from, what time it is, what's your favorite sandwich. That looks very cool. We can even go darker up into the corner. I like having it a little darker. So let's get a little bit of the black, a little bit of the blue back onto the brush, and we'll come in a little darker. Right? Just blend it. Right? Dropping it up into the top corner first and then letting it work its way down. And then it's going to want to blend in. There we go. Crisscrossing, letting those colors drag back and forth. That's what's causing it to blend like that, right? Very soft. Now I'm going to get a lot of that blue color off of this brush, and then we're going to come back in and make it even softer. There we go. I'm always dabbing it off on a paper towel over here. I don't know how you guys do it, but I never like the brush to be wet, especially when we come up here to do this blending, right? Don't want to have a sopping wet brush. There we go. Look at that. Soft little things, more pressure, less pressure. You get it to literally blend away to where you literally can't even tell what color was where, what happened, what were we doing, right? Very cool little bright area over here. You can even take this guy, start to work some of that dark color down. Down, 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 down to Chinatown, to Goblin Town. There we go. Man, that's a gorgeous little sky right there. Okay, let's take our little filbert brush, right, just like that. And we'll come into our white paint, just pure white paint. Don't need a whole lot, just on the end of the brush. You guys see that? Can everyone see? I don't even know. I can't even tell what you guys are looking at.
Yeah, just put it in front of the canvas.
In front of the canvas, and then you'll be able to see. Okay, we're going to come into our brightest area. We're going to push, and then we're going to rotate the bristles. Right? Trying not to move the brush, but letting the bristles rotate out into a circle. And then a lot of times you can do it in one or two little swipes, and you have this beautiful little circle. Nice bright white sun back there. Bless you, honey.
Can I have some paper towels?
Yes. They might have paint on them. Be careful.
That's fine.
Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to wash that filbert brush off. We probably won't need it anymore. I mean, you can use it to make really far away, detailed little bits of clouds and all sorts of stuff, but that'll take forever. So, let me show you a quick way to do it.
Thank
Nice,
you guys.
easy
I really
way to make
appreciate
clouds.
it. Everyone in the comments is like, bless you, Lon.
Yes. Everyone, I think I got better literally because of all the positive comments. Like everyone, everyone's saying, "Oh my God, get better soon. We hope you feel better." I think that literally made me feel better.
Well, they say that if you talk to a plant, it grows.
Like the positivity of everybody made me feel better. Okay, now we're gonna come in and throw some clouds in here, right? Depending on what you want your clouds to look like. Maybe our clouds were all going, you could put them all different ways, but I like kind of flowing in one direction, right? So who knows? Maybe we could even do could have like a bigger bit back here. It could get smaller back behind the cloud. It could go under the sun. We could do all sorts of stuff. So let's get our red and our yellow ochre. Just that same color that we started our sky with. You see it on the end of the brush. Not a whole lot of color, right? Nothing too crazy. Just so we could have this soft little floater way off in the distance. Not even a whole lot of detail. Barely any paint back there, right?
I'm gonna do something a bit different.
And then we're gonna come back in here and just mix it up just so softly. And that way it just has that little bit of detail back there.
I'm gonna drop myself in your live so that people can see that I'm in a live.
There we go. Fantastic. Perfect. Now let's take a little bit of white on the other side of that brush. Hang on. We're going to come back in here and just pop in a little bit of white onto the top. smallest little bit. And then we're going to come in and just very lightly mix it up. And that way you get this little bit of white detail way off in the distance, right? Now, in order to show our deeper, darker shadows of our clouds into these darker colors, we're going to need to come in with darker color shadows, right? So let's get a little bit of the red and a little bit of the crimson this time. On that same color, the same corner of the brush that was dark, right? You can tell it's a little bit darker than it was now. So let's see, maybe we had this one, I don't know, kind of skip behind the cloud. There we go. Just mushing it onto the canvas like that. Babe, can you turn it down just a little bit?
It won't turn down. There's nothing I can do about it.
Okay, I'm sorry. There we go. Just mushing it on, just like that, right? And all we're doing is providing this little bit of shadowy color sort of on the verge of where our colors meet up, right? And that way you get this cool little thing. And I don't want to lose all of these gorgeous colors in there. So we're going to take a dry brush. We're going to, nice clean dry brush. We're going to come in just with the top of the corner of the brush and just start to mix that little bit of darkness, just so it turns a little softer, right? A little bit of softness. We don't want to overmix it so much that we lose all the colors underneath or all the differences or all the shadows, all that neat stuff. We don't want to lose all of that. So don't overdo it is what I'm saying. A little bit of white on the corner of the brush, right? Still using the same brush, just half and halfsies. There we go. Now we can come in and just start to dump on a little bit of just mushing it. You see what I mean? We're not doing anything crazy. We're not really trying to make a perfect shape. We're just mushing it on in a random pattern. And that way when we start to mix it with our brush, it's going to change color and it's going to change what it looks like and what happens. It's going to be very cool. This guy we're going to start to blend up because the sun is underneath him, right? So we'll come back in with that same brush that we had, right? Let's start on this side, but we're going to go up. We're going to mix it up into that shadow, that darker shadow up there. And the more you mix, the more it's going to change and the more it's going to blend in and almost become part of the color of the sky. Right now on this guy, the reason why we leave those gaps in between is because all this white color is going to want to grow across all of our dark shadows, right? Just like that. Very soft, very cool little things. The more you push, the more it's going to mix in. The less you push, the softer and it's, or the more you push, the softer it's going to be. The less pressure you give it, the more detail you're going to have in there, right? So you have to decide what you want it to look like. Very cool. Let's take a little bit of that darker color again, that crimson. Maybe put it underneath this guy like he had a little bit of a flat bottom. You see there's two different levels of flatness right there, and that's going to provide depth in the cloud, like there's two different areas. One maybe a little bit further away or sits a little bit lower on the horizon, right? Very cool. Get the bottom of those clouds. And the more and more you mix it, the softer it becomes to where you can't even almost tell. Bam. Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, let's take a little bit. Why don't we do like a soft little floater up here, right? We'll take our white. And again, I want to have it on the same kind of angle. So actually back in here, let's do a little, just mushing it against the canvas, right? Leaving that gap in between, and that way it can grow and blend, right? You got to have those little differences in there.
Hey babe, what type of fan brush are you using?
So this is a Gac Doctor fan brush, G-A-C-D-R. We got them from one of the fans, actually a couple of the fans have purchased them for me for my Amazon wish list, and they're really great little hog hair brushes. I've had these ones for a few weeks now, and we paint a lot, and they've withstood my beater bucket. They've withstood all the trees and the clouds and the mountains and everything else, all the bashing and the mushing, and they've, retained their shape. They're really good brushes. I really like them. Gac Doctor, and they're not expensive. You can find them in my Amazon affiliate storefront, which is Amazon.com/shop/paintwithjosh, and you can buy those same exact Gac Doctor brushes, or you can find them on my wish list. And we always try to post our Linktree link that has all the different links in the wish list and all that stuff. So you'll be able to find it somewhere. There we go. Now we have a few clouds, leaving that nice blue area at the top. And the reason I like to do that is because every so often we'll come in with a little chemtrail, right? So we'll scrape up the smallest little bit of our white on the edge and maybe out of the cloud on the just the smallest little angle possible. You get this little chemtrail or contrail, whatever you want to call it. One swipe is all you get though. Don't mess around. Got to be straight, got to be soft. Just like that. That was not very straight. Bam. The more you do it, the more it's going to mix in. So don't go crazy. Bam. Just like that. Get a cool little thing happening off in the distance. Okay, let's mix up some dark color. Take our black, our blue, our crimson. Scrape up all this stuff that we're happening right here, and we'll come in here.
Caitlin says, Josh, I am missing crucial Chiefs plays for you.
The Chiefs playing right now. Thank you for watching. Just put me on silent in the background, and then you can watch the game. There we go. Mix that up.
Crystal said, oh, to be a fan of many things, the struggle is real.
Yeah, right? Okay, let's come in and take that color, our dark mixture that we then mixed with white to brighten it up just a little bit. And we'll come in and start to shape what we wanted that bit of mountain to look like back here. And that initial shape is just an idea of what you want yours to look like. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to look like anything.
A happy little chemtrail.
Yeah, happy little chemtrail or contrail. No conspiracy theories here, people. That's a different channel, right? Coming in, just dropping a little bit of paint, just a little bit. Doesn't matter what the bottom looks like, just
Josh,
up here.
We just got an air dance.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing 2-man. I'm Al Harrington, owner of Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing 2-man Emporium and Warehouse, and we're here to pass these painting tips along to you. So much fun. Okay, just the top there, right? Top line is all we're really worried about. Then we can take our brush, just make it soft off in the distance, light pressure on the way down so you get this foggy look. You don't know where the bottom is. Right, because we're pulling away as we come down. It's not just a full pressure all the way down. You could really make that paint grow if you wanted to. All depends on your pressure, right? Very light little things. Take this guy, you can start to shape what you want it to look like. Maybe he goes off and meets our horizon down there. Who knows? This giant thing. Crazy looking thing.
If you are interested in watching Josh make a fool of himself again, it will cost you an air dancer.
Bam, there we go. Cool little faraway mountain. Now, we're going to take that and really start to highlight it and really shadow it up. So let's take a little bit of our black, a little bit of our blue again, a little bit of that crimson, really darken our color up again. And that way, when we come in, if our sun is back here, maybe we're not going to be able to see a whole lot of stuff that's happening back here. We'll have all these crazy sheer drops, all this shadow and deep darkness along the back edge. And then you can always go over and re-highlight whatever you want to see, right? Let's say there was a cool little bit, started to work its way down. Maybe there was like a path. Maybe there was a path coming down the mountain, right? All this bit would be in the shadows. Very cool. Just mushing it on for right now, right? Just creating that shadow, getting those little breaks, all those little differences, right? Maybe on the back side of this peak right there. You get that little bit of shadow on that side, right? Bam. All depends on what you want it to look like, right? Maybe there was another little ridge in there. Who knows? Maybe there was one down here that connected to that. All sorts of stuff that's hidden by the shadows, right? Very cool. Now let's get a little bit of brown. Let's get a little bit of yellow ochre. We're gonna mix that up into this gorgeous brown color. All right, take a little bit of our dark mixture and mix that in so we get this little dulled, bright area, right? There we go. Let it drop down. You get all these little differences in color. All the different browns, the yellows, they start to come down and cover over all of our kind of negative space, right? Very cool. Maybe we had a little bit more yellow ochre and we had a little brighter area on this side. Just letting it fall down, right? A little bit more brown. All depends on what you want yours to look like. And then you just let it very lightly come off of your brush, right? Very lightly. Going back over it with our browns and yellows, just letting them mix in with these very cool little things start to happen, right? Let's say maybe there's a little bit more light, just lit up that side, just the edge, right? You can take it, pull it off to the side just a little bit and start to create what your ridge looks like. Just letting it very slightly mix in. Very cool.
Guys, if I can ask a favor, if you can tap that screen and comment and share, that would be absolutely amazing. And it does push the live out to more people. We would really appreciate it.
Very true. Yeah. All depends on where you go with your light. Depends on what you're going to see, how much room you're going to see. Very cool.
And if you're watching on YouTube, the same logic applies. If you comment, like, share the live, it pushes it out to more people.
True. And you got to hit that like button, guys. A little bit of our deep dark brown in here with that mixture of our dark. And that way it's not all just the same color. Just depending on our swipes of our brush, depend on what it looks like. The swipes of our knife, anyway. Not our brush, Josh. We're not using a brush. There we go. A little bit of that brown down in there. Get all that texture. Fantastic. Now, let's take our soft 2-inch brush. We're going to start to swipe up from the bottom, just making it soft in the opposite direction of how we pulled, right? So we went up this way, and then on this side, we went up this way. So we're going the opposite direction, right? Very soft things. We're not trying to push the paint. We're just trying to make it softer. Now, down in here, you're going to want to tap very softly and just drag that little bit of color down into wherever our water line is, right? And then we won't be able to tell where the base of the mountain is because it's going to have this little bit of mystery down around the bottom. Very cool. Bam. All right, now let's come in and we're going to wash that brush off. We'll wash off our other 1-inch brush, and then we'll start doing some ocean. That's what Sunday Seascapes is about. The ocean. That looks pretty cool. Never know what it's going to look like. We're making it up as we go. All right, let's grab our brush. We're going to go into our white paint. Just a pretty much pure white. Actually, we'll grab a little bit of our cad yellow. All right, come over here. Just brighten it up just a little bit because we have that crimson as our first layer. So maybe underneath our bit of sunshine back here, we can start to light up our ocean water. A little bit of brightness, right? And maybe as it gets back over here behind the mountain, it doesn't light up oh so much anymore. Very cool. Cool little bit of a line, right? Little differences. And then you can start to slide that guy back. Slide it back, making it soft. Not a whole lot of detail. It's very far away. Right? I'm not going to be able to see all that detail back there. And then just very lightly with our brush. Very lightly. You don't want it to overmix. Don't want to lose any cool details back there. Very cool. Now, we're going to come wash the color off that brush because I don't want it to be green in the next bit. I want it to be blue. So come back in, get that same white. Drag it through a little bit of the yellow, I guess. It doesn't matter. Now we'll come underneath, start to decide. Maybe we had our next little bit. I don't know. We'll start to come back here, right? Just a little bit of oceany water. And again, it doesn't even all have to show or connect, right? Pulling it back, feeding it back to that darkness back here, right? The more you feed it back, right? Say we needed a bit higher of a peak right there, right? You feed it back to that darkness on a very flat line though. You don't want to go straight up. If you go straight up, then your water's going to look very strange, right? Pulling it long strokes over here from the side till you reach that back line. And again, you don't even have to cover everything. You're not going to see every single thing, right? We have our little line right here. It's fantastic. I love how quickly and easily you can paint the ocean just by messing around. Nothing crazy. Leave that little line of darkness back in there though. That's our next little line of our next wave coming in. You don't want to get rid of all that darkness, that's for sure. Very cool. Don't even want to go all the way to the edge because we're going to have this giant big old rock come down anyway. So very softly again. Same kind of pulling it from the back towards that last black line, just making it soft, same angles. Don't overdo it, otherwise you're going to kill all the black. That's not what you want to do. Got to keep that dark color back there. Now, let's grab a little bit of our liquid white on the end of our liner brush. That's almost too much. Got very globby there. Now, you need it to be the liquid white because it's very water-like, right? Then we can come back here, and on the edge of those waves, let's see, maybe we'll come over here and do it. And put in little details just on the edge, right, of that top, leaving that darkness underneath. right? Come back in here, go down a little bit. Just leaving that little bit of white line. That's our next little wave coming in. Doesn't have to be the same amount of white or nice and straight or anything. Just don't get rid of all that darkness. If you lose that dark back there, that's bad news bears. Okay, same thing. Maybe we can take the littlest bit of it, start sliding it back with our, just with our liner brush. Just the smallest little bit. To the side though, don't be too crazy. If you give it too many little details, or you pull it too vertically, then it's just not gonna look right. Right, there we go. Small little things. Little, very horizontal little swipes. All right, take this guy, make that peak of that wave just a little bit more noticeable. Yep.
Don't you have something to tell everybody today?
We reached 12,000 followers on Facebook, you guys. Oh, I love every single one of my Facebook followers and YouTube followers. We're almost to 5,000 YouTube subs right now. We're over 8,200 TikTok followers. We're going crazy. Here we go. Pulling a little bit of that back. Is that what you were meant for me to say, hun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What else you got?
I don't remember. I get too into painting and then I forget.
What's happening in the month of December?
We got, different times. So like different times of the show we're going to have on Wednesdays and Saturdays. We'll try that out for December. It'll be limited time only, and then we'll go back to regular programming unless it's like wildly popular and we decide to keep doing it on Wednesdays and Saturdays. But yeah, we've got tons of stuff planned for the next few Wednesdays coming out. Gorgeous things. I can't wait for you guys to see all of them. Okay, a little bit more liquid white, and let's come in and just drop a little bit on the top of this guy. Again, it doesn't have to be the most perfectly straight thing, right? The water's coming in at different times, at different angles, at different brightnesses even. It doesn't all even have to be the same amount of bright, right? Just like that. Cool little peaks at different spots. And then we can come up and we can crash over. Be very cool. But you have to have your second peak, you know, a little bit back, and that'll give us a place to feed our waves back into. And I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Hey babe, if someone was interested in seeing your UFO paintings, how would they see those?
So you can go on my YouTube. It's been a minute since I've done one, but they are on my YouTube. I don't really have a playlist of just UFO stuff, but you can scroll back and you can find all the cool UFO paintings that we've done.
Chris Doucette just sent $5 on YouTube.
Holy crap, Chris, thank you. It's been a long time since we've heard from Chris. I thought he left us.
I don't think anyone will leave us intentionally.
I think people reach a point where they get good and then they don't need me anymore, so, which is fine. We expect that to happen.
I would like to think that even if he thinks he's good enough that he doesn't need the painting, he would still come back for the stunning personality.
The personality. Okay, now we're going to have, ooh, that's very cool. I don't want to lose this big guy either. We got to have, maybe we'll throw him in. Maybe we can put some splash back here. We can do all sorts of stuff. We can just do little waves. We can do big waves. There's all sorts of things you can do from this point.
Thank you so much for sending corn. Really appreciate it.
Corn.
If
It's
I felt
corn.
better, I would say, it's corn. A big lump with knobs. It has a juice.
London loves that corn song.
I do love that corn song.
And the corn band from the 2000s.
Oh, stop. And the food, the corn.
Okay, let's take our nice dark color. We'll come in and just outline the edge of our thing. Just see how I'm smushing it?
By the
Just
way,
mushing it on there. Look at how the brush rotates.
the Chiefs just scored a touchdown.
Oh, nice.
If you
Yay,
have-
Patrick Mahomes.
If you have football news, drop it in the comments. Keep that interaction
There we
going,
go.
guys.
See how we push all those other waves back. That's why it doesn't really, you don't really have to go to the edge. You push all those waves back, just with a little bit of rock coming in, right? All depends on what you want yours to look like. Now, I like having a little bit of texture, a fair amount of paint on the canvas right here. And that way, when we do go over it with our highlights and stuff, if there's a couple areas that are very thick with paint, it's going to grab the highlights at different places. It's going to look very cool. Makes it look much closer than the other one being much taller and much lower than our further away mountain back there. Perspective, perspective, perspective. Man, that's a lot of paint on that brush. My goodness. Again, if this is your first time watching a Paint with Josh video, tell us where you're watching from, what time it is, and what's your favorite sandwich. We love to know. Okay, now if we continue that big darkness around, let's put a little bit of splash back here, right? We're literally making it up as we go. So let's get a little bit of that white, maybe a little bit of the yellow. Put in just a little bit of mess in here, right? Cool little piece. Because that's not even our big giant crash. And that may even end up being part of the wave. Actually, I don't want to go too far. That may have been a mistake. Okay, let's get a smaller brush. Let's get this guy back here. And we'll come in, same color, that white and yellow mixture, doesn't even matter. You could clean it up and have it be pure white, but I like it to have a little bit of difference in there. Right, now, let's say our next wave came in, and it came up like this, over the top of that guy, right? And then started to crash in, making our little S shape. So we don't want to lose too much of that. And then we're going to start to slide it back. Again, going back to that dark line. Depending on your angles, right? You pull it.
The rock on the right looks like the Easter Island head.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of cool. Okay, let's come up here, grab that white and yellowish color again. Now, we decided our wave came up, so we're going to start to pull it down, pull it down, pull it down, right? Getting taller, a little bit rounded, right? It's not just a straight pull. You got to have that little roundness in there. Now, let's throw our eye of our wave in here. Just a little dab of paint. And then we're going to take our 1-inch brush, just because it's soft, and we're going to start to extend that, making it softer. Not trying to allow these colors to connect, though. You have to have that dark line in there. That's our disconnection, right? And it came out here. You don't want to move that bright color too far. Got to retain all of our darkness, right? Very lightly, making it soft. Woo! Very cool. Now, back here, we can decide what we're going to do. See, we had that dark color. We can come back in and make our little splashiness make sense. Maybe there was a bit of rock out there. It just hid just at the top. Yes, there we go. Now, there's that disconnect, that darkness underneath, right? The waves splashing in the back, a little bit of rock into the front. There we go. Now it makes sense to my brain. Okay, take that same white paint. We're going to come back here and brighten this guy up, right?
Caitlin wrote, tap the screen, tap, share, Phthalo, and subscribe. So I wrote back and said, Phthalo him.
What?
She meant to write
follow,
but she wrote Phthalo.
That's funny.
So you're now a pastry.
There we go. Very bright bit of water on the top.
If Josh gets a meteor shower, will he add a UFO? Let me double check.
I'll add a UFO. I don't care.
Let me double check. I know if Josh got a lion, he'd add a UFO.
What's a lion?
It's worth 30,000 coins.
Oh my god. That's a little outrageous, I think. All right, a little bit of splash at the top. Just a little bit of
yes,
disturbance.
Sure.
There we go.
Sure, he would add a UFO.
Okay, now we're going to take... We can add a UFO in here.
You can't do it for free.
Oh, well, you know, I don't try to be, you know, like money grubbing. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of our odorless mineral spirits back into our thing, just so we don't lose that dark line, right?
Sheila Gray said, Mum just called and I can't answer. I have to call you back, Mum, because I caught Josh on live.
That's funny. There we go. Don't want to go too crazy. We're going to have something else over here. You can have all sorts of stuff happening. Now, we need to come in a little bit of our dark shadow underneath before that
Canadian
white
Lumberjack
takes
here,
over.
He said, this is America. Make it a 17-year-old Ford pickup.
There we go. There we go. Splashing in. Letting all that dark color mix in. Creating our splashiness of our foamy water. Very cool. It's coming down. It's crashing against the side of this rock. Keeping that dark disconnect in between the brightness and our splash. Right? And then we can come in with our liquid white and a little bit of that white in here just to make it extra watery. And then you start coming in and splashing up all of your little details. Look at that.
And just so you guys know, when we go back to, when we do the December short series, Wednesdays and Saturdays, we will be live again on all 3 platforms. I know that's been upsetting to a lot of followers. So Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard, Saturday morning, 11 a.m. and we will be live on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook.
Where's my little brush? Ah. All right, let's come in here, a little bit of our white, and let's just start to rotate this guy. Like, you have to start to shape what you want it to look like, right? And it goes out, and it gets flatter as it comes out over here, right? It's not all the same bit.
And for anyone wondering, I'm going to bed when the live is over. Josh will continue through the day powerhousing.
I feel good.
Bed. I do not feel good.
There we go. Now we'll take a little bit of our foaminess, right? Start to feed that guy back into those waves. That's our foamy water crashing down. Man, it looks good. Starting to mix in with the brown section down here now. Right? All depends on what you want yours to look like.
The question of whether or not there should
Very
be a
cool.
UFO in the painting. Look, babe.
What?
Look at your phone real quick.
What is it?
50-50.
Oh, it's 50-50. That's funny. Okay, let's take a little bit of our 1-inch brush, very lightly start to just create those cool little bits of that top water floating on the top of that darkness, right? These cool little things. You start to build your waves. What do they start to look like? What does your wave look like? It doesn't have to look like anyone else's wave. Right? Those cool little dark bits that are starting to fall into the edge, falling into the, right? Every so often you get those shadowy bits of highlight. So I guess they're low light. Man, gotta have it make sense. Gotta have it rotate. Right? Come out further than you think you need to before you start rotating in. Helps the water look round. Or like it's moving anyway. There we go. And then we can decide, we can fix the top, we can do all sorts of stuff. Just softening it. Trying to keep it very dark down here. Don't want to do anything with that. Want to keep it nice and dark. Fantastic. Okay, let's take a little bit of our cad yellow and our yellow ochre, and we're going to load those guys onto the brush, right? And then we're going to come in and make some really shiny sand underneath. So I want to leave a little bit of a disconnect, right? You got to leave that little dark line underneath there. You don't want to lose all of that darkness. And again, it's going to get darker as we get back there, right? All the sunlight is over here. So we're going to pull down, sort of medium pressure, depends on what you want it to look like. I never like to really have it have any streaks. And then I'm going to swipe it over, trying to leave that dark line. You don't want to get rid of it because it's hard to put back. There we go. Woo! Look at that. Fantastic. Nice wet sand. Again, if you do lose it in certain places, you can go back and add that little bit of darkness. You can slide some of the dark up inside of your foam, because not all the foam is lit up perfectly every time, right? Take our dark back in here. See how it's at a lower level than these ones? It's getting lower, or it's climbing up. A little bit of our black back in here. Just so we have something for our white to kind of grab onto. Let's grab a little bit of liquid white. Come back in here. I think I just threw white paint on the floor or my shoe or something.
Okay, your shoes are white.
Yeah, right. So grab our liquid white, just have it flow off of the knife, just very softly, right? You're not putting a lot of pressure. Just want it to come off the knife, showing a little bit of that darkness, that dark line underneath, and having it feed back into our waves, right? You can even push it back in like that. You start getting these little bits of foam on the top, right? Shake the knife. Shake it. There we go. Very cool little things start to happen, right? Fantastic. All right, now let's take our next little bit. Holy cow, we're just throwing stuff everywhere. Let's wash this off. Try to do too many things with dirty brushes and then it ends up all kind of running together. All right, let's take our next little bit. Let's grab a little bit of our yellow ochre and a little bit of that white. Maybe mix them up down in here. Just on one corner of the brush, doesn't need to be too crazy. A little bit more of our liquidy whitish mixture because this is going to be our little water line in the front that maybe came in a little sooner. And we can start to slide him back. Right? But I don't want to reach all the way back to the you know, this next bit. We got to leave little areas where the foam might have pulled back a certain deal here, maybe not so much there. Right? Little things, soft little things. And if you don't even like them, you can take and blend them all out. That's the perfect thing about these oil paints. They literally blend away to nothing. Right? Very little amount of pressure. I don't want to over mix it and have them all be the same. That's not going to be fun. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's pop in a little bit of that darkness underneath, that crimsony blackish mixture. Little bit though, nothing too crazy. All you want it to do is stand out away from the mix, right? Have it look like it's sitting up just a littlest bit.
Better butternuts than a microphone.
Hey, we're live on the air. Don't even want to have it be too much like that. If it gets too big and too crazy, it's not going to look right. Right? And spread it out. Make it soft. Blend it until it disappears. Right? It doesn't all have to look the same. All we're looking for is that little bit of disconnect between those kind of brighter colors. Lets it sit up a little bit more. And then we can decide what we want all of our stuff to look like. Put a big old rock in here or something. Cover it in with another big giant rock. We could do all sorts of things. All sorts of stuff can happen when we're painting, right? We can even decide that we want to change the angle of this wave. And start to pull it back a little bit more over here. There we go. With those same sideways strokes, right? And not covering everything. It doesn't all have to be the same. And maybe this guy. There we go. Kind of come up. Come up. There we go. Now we'll start to blend these guys together so they're not all the same deal. Right? Look at the brush. Start to rotate. Start to make it round. Very cool. Okay. And that way we'll come up to this little point, pull down from this side, pull back from this side, and that'll be kind of cool, a little different. Right? Just like that. Very neat. Right? I don't want to, again, have too much of the same color though, so we have to have that little dark line underneath the tip tops, right? That way it helps the water look like it's going to rotate over. At least it does to me. Making it soft. Don't want to do too many things, otherwise we're going to lose all of our little colors, right? We're going to lose our disconnect. There we go. What do you think of that, babe?
Beautiful.
It's kind of neat.
For anyone asking in the comments about the new schedule through the month of December, it is so that Josh doesn't have to paint Christmas Day and New Year's Day.
Yeah, those both fall on Sundays.
That is why we are looking.
I figured you guys wouldn't be watching a painting show on Christmas Day anyway. You should be hanging out with your families and opening up gifts and
in the same
eating.
same respect, Josh is going to be hanging out with his family.
True.
And not
Like we don't want to
painting
come
with
up
you
here and
guys.
paint.
So
There we go.
that is why we looked at changing the schedule through the month of December.
There we go, guys. Little thingies. Hi, Bella.
Hi.
Little things happening. Okay, let's put in a big old giant stone over here and we'll call it done. Little black, little blue, little crimson. Mix that up. Maybe our nice dark color. Maybe we'll come into here, right? Just having it come up past even our crimson section back there. And we'll come over here. All we're doing is pushing some of that wave back, right? We don't need to ever see every single thing. That's never going to happen. So all we're doing is making it nice and dark, covering up what we don't want to see, and then we can come back in and shape what we want our little rock to look like on this side. It's just an easy way to cover up, you know, the bit of your painting that maybe didn't turn out how you wanted to, or doesn't kind of flow with the rest, or, you know, just a nice way to fill up that extra space and have a cool little bit of detail, barely touching on our rock over here. So that way I've got a whole lot of thick texture, a lot of colors we can work with that black, blue, and crimson in there.
Canadian Lumberjack says, thanks for ruining my Sunday. I was looking forward to avoiding my family.
That's funny. A little brown, a little yellow, a little yeller. Right, we didn't finish our guy up here. We got to come around, just very lightly touching, dragging, letting the paint fall off the knife, trying to get as close to the edge as possible and pulling away. You're never going to see everything, right? So you don't have to highlight everything. Maybe out here on the edge, of course, that would get some light out there, right? But maybe around the back, the sun couldn't reach around back there, which is totally fine. Right, just along the side. You're never going to see all of it. It's never, ever going to show you every single thing. You'll have all this deep darkness back there. It's fantastic. Fantastic! Right, maybe if we could just sneak in the smallest little bit of brown, it might trick our eyeballs into thinking that was a piece of rock back there. That works for me. Now, we almost had too much of that kind of bright white pickup in here. There we go. You just start to mix it and mix it and mix it over and over, pulling it very lightly, just kind of guiding it away, and you get this very cool little bit of rock.
Oh, it's Karen D'Souza's birthday Christmas day.
Oh, nice. That is, we were just talking about the other day. Is that horrible, having a birthday on Christmas?
We were just talking about that yesterday, though.
Like, I would imagine that would not be fun because it's Christmas.
Everyone always tries to get away with just one gift.
Yeah, right? They're like, oh, it's fine. You don't need a birthday present. We got you for Christmas.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Right.
There we go. A little bit of brown on the edge of our rock over here. You don't need too much. If you show too much of that light color, then your brain doesn't have to work and guess at anything, right? Your brain wants to tell you what's back here without even seeing anything. It already knows. It already knows. It's like, hey, I know what's happening back here, so that way you don't even need to see it all.
Canadian Lumberjack says, I'll give even left gifts for that person, overachiever.
There we go. Differences in angle, in shadow, and everything, right? Bam. This cool little bit. And again, it's got to be lower down here than it is up there. There we go. Now we'll take our little 1-inch brush, just very lightly mix in those darker colors, letting them grow into the beach. Okay. Take our 2-inch brush and so softly, like you're barely even grazing the paint at all. Like 3 hairs and some air. Like Bob wasn't even joking. It's such a light touch because I'm not trying to move the paint. I'm just trying to soften it just the littlest smidge. Man, very cool. Okay. You know what we didn't get into over here was our little bit of mixture on our splash. There we go. Gotta have that spray, that little bit of kind of mystery. What's happening over there? And then we can come in, dip in with our liquid white, and just come and start tapping in all sorts of little bright areas just by tapping on the brush. And what do you want it to look like? Is it all falling down all crazily? Is it coming down kind of uniform? What does yours look like? Okay, now just for fun, why don't we come in, we'll scrape up like a whole big bit of where there's going to be another rock. But you want to get that wet, sloppy paint off of there. Come back in, blue, black, crimson, mix them up again. Bam, 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 bam. Right? Mix it up. Come in here, really dark, really thick bit of paint. And that way that will have this cool little bit of rock.
Oh.
Bam. Just like that.
Sheila Gray says, my birthday's December 10th, so I get lots of presents and my grandma's homemade custard pie.
Ooh.
I would like some homemade custard pie.
Custard
please.
pie. Okay, back to that brownish color. Maybe just on the tip tops. Right? Leaving that darkness in there. You can't see every single thing. You never will.
Karen D'Souza says, when my mom was alive, she was awesome and would make it a great birthday. I believe you.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, come in with our white and yellow. And we had just a little bit of our foamy water in there, right? The foam's never all going to be the same. So let it be different. We're gonna have all these little cool little things kind of sliding back. And that's what makes it look more realistic to me anyway. When you have these neat little bits of action everywhere. Very cool. All this action, right? Especially when we make it soft. It's not about what it looks like when it's all textury, at least not to me. It's what it looks like when it's soft. There we go.
I mean, you could make it super textury. It will just take forever to dry.
True. True, true, true. Bam. Very cool. Okay, let's see if we can't get just a little bit of the white, just pure liquid white, to look like our water's edge right here. Now, we'll take that liquid white and just try to grab the back of it and slide it back, leaving that line along the top. Grab the back, slide it backwards. Feeding it back to the water, right? Very cool. Very cool. Remember that dark line under there. If you give it that darkness, it raises the foam up like it's sitting on top of something. Like it's got a little bit of lift. Very cool. Very cool. And then you can spend as much time as you want adding details and different things to your bit of foam to make it look however you want. Remember, go back before you start to feed up.
Sheila, I have no idea whether Josh's paint would glow in the dark if you put a black light over it.
There's some colors that look kind of cool. We've done it with and put on 3D glasses, and they look kind of cool like that. A little bit of white. You don't want to overdo it. So I would imagine they would.
In Josh's wish list, which can be found in his link tree, there are glow-in-the-dark paints.
Yeah, those would be neat
listed in
too.
there.
There we go. Man, gotta make it messy looking, right? It's never gonna be this perfect thing. Water is never this perfect thing. Don't forget about our dark line underneath our little bits of foam. Just helps it raise itself up. Very cool. Very cool. If we can't get a little bit more. There. Again, they don't even need to line up. They really don't. It can be totally different. Have all these little things, little differences. Fantastic. All right. We're just about done. So we're not adding a UFO to this one?
The people say no.
All right. Well, I mean, the people rule. It's been a minute. I don't even know if I could paint a UFO anymore, to be honest. It's been so long since the people have let me paint one.
We did just receive a request for a commissioned photo, so we'll talk about that when it's over.
Awesome. We love doing commissioned photos. Let's see. All right, we're going to wash these brushes off, and then we'll decide what else needs to be done to this guy. Maybe we'll just sign it and call the show over.
Do you have blue paint on your palette?
Yeah?
Could we do something just a tiny different, just because I know there's a lot of people sitting in the comments right now that will go crazy about this.
Yeah? What's up?
Could you make the birds blue?
Sure.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, gotta dab those off. Everybody, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Let's get the birds. So we'll take our odorless mineral spirits, which is the way that we clean the brush. It makes the paint so super liquidy, right? So we'll go into our blue paint because London wants us to be blue today. And this is how we sign a lot of the paintings. Most of the paintings, 99% of the paintings have these birds in them. And they represent my family, which is myself, my wife, and my daughter. Let's put them over here. And yeah, down in here. And I didn't come up with the shape of these birds, of course. There we go. But I've been telling people for 3 or 4 years now to kind of represent their own family in this little representation of mine. And a lot of people seem to like it. Let's see. There we go. Just got to blend it in until it starts to all look right to you, right? There we go. Get that dark line back underneath there. Ooh, Just helps it look like it's rotating. Got to curl. It's got that little bit of shadow underneath. Little bit of shadow underneath. Take that little shadow and just pull it down the smallest bit.
Jamer254 times 43 wrote, "That's lit AF, man."
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Okay. Now we'll sign over here in the bottom.
Just
Our
kidding.
liquid white. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
Come over down here. Bam, 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 bam. Well, this one turned out fantastic. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. And I hope you try it and send in your own versions. We always love seeing when people try the paintings and what theirs looks like and just how awesome everyone's can be. So, there we go. Always try to finish our canvas because I never like my buyer to have to go crazy and get like a, ooh, look, bring some of that little darker purplish up there. Woo! Woo! I never like them to have to go get a custom frame and do all that nonsense. Like, who wants to deal with that? Just finish the edges. Makes it easy for them to hang up straight out of the box, right? Perfect. Perfection. Even have our water like come around the side of the canvas over here. Right? Bam, 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 bam. And you don't know what's happening. It's like wrapped around the side. Very cool. Little 3D action on it. All right. Well, if you guys enjoyed watching this, make sure you tap that screen, hit the like button, hit the share button.
Head over to YouTube, press subscribe. It's free to subscribe.
Definitely. We have tons and tons and tons and tons of free videos. Different to these live shows. These live shows we kind of mess about and with the tutorials, they're very serious. Just me up here teaching you how to paint. So if you like what you saw today, hit that like button and subscribe. Join if you want. Pay for the channel. Gain access to extra videos and members-only classes and stuff like that. Very cool. Ask some of the members. They're probably watching right now. The members are the die-hard fans.
Ride or die.
Ride or die fans.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I'm sorry I'm not on point. I will be on point the next time that you can catch me live. Will be next Friday. I will be more awake during the Paint with Josh lives.
Clean up the old palette here. There we go. My goodness. Got so much happening. So yeah, check us out next Friday. It'll be the last Friday night freestyle of the season. Of the year. It'll be fantastic. And yeah, we'll decide what we're going to paint, maybe 10 minutes before that. So until we see you guys again next time, a new video coming out on Wednesday. And then the Friday shows. I got tons of new stuff coming out every Wednesday in November. Fantastic paintings. The Great Wave off Kanagawa, our desert kind of waterfall, our winter waterfall. It's going to be fantastic. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go over there and watch all the videos a billion times. And, it'd be great. So.
And we're about 3,000 views right now away from 400,000 views on YouTube.
It's insane.
So if you go over there and watch those videos, we can hit 400,000 and then obviously drop a post across all social media.
Be cool. London's waiting for it.
Those posts don't exist without you, so.
Yeah, you guys are the best. And so until we see you again, until we see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day, and pow! Get him out of here, babe. Woo! This one turned out good. Yeah.